Obviously, facing a player like Coco is, you know, something people like would cue.
Alex, I am so thrilled to be doing this interview with you at the Rizal Memorial Courts.
She's untouchable. The Eala scandal that exposed every hater shook the WTA and left the whole tennis world speechless. Welcome back to Champions Tennisitics, the only channel on the internet that tells you the full story, the raw truth, and all the blazing, unfiltered drama happening behind the scenes of the WTA Tour. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button right now because we are about to go on a ride today that you absolutely cannot afford to miss. Make sure that notification bell is on and go ahead and grab something to drink because this story has more twists and turns than a tiebreak at Roland Garros. We are talking about accusations, internet chaos, emergency procedures, the kind of drama that only seems to happen when a young superstar is rising so fast that the haters simply cannot keep up. Today, we are pulling back every curtain and laying out the entire wild, jaw-dropping, absolutely unbelievable saga surrounding 20-year-old Filipino tennis phenomenon Alexandra Eala, a doping accusation that rocked the tennis world, an emergency investigation that left everyone stunned, and a truth so powerful it silenced every single critic. Are you ready? Because Champions Tennisitics is about to serve up the hottest tea of the entire WTA season. Let's start at the beginning, because context is everything. If you have been following the WTA Tour for any length of time, you already know that the name Alex Eala has been echoing through tennis arenas from Manila to Madrid to Melbourne. Born on May 23, 2005, in the Philippines, Alexandra Eala is not just another young talent trying to find her footing on the main tour. She is a generational talent, a once-in-a-decade kind of player who seems to have been built for this sport from the ground up. She trained at the legendary Rafa Nadal Academy in Manacor, Spain, which tells you everything you need to know about the level of investment and belief that the tennis world has placed in this young woman. She won the Junior Grand Slam at the 2022 US Open, became the first Filipino player to win a Junior Grand Slam singles title, and then went on to prove that her game translates perfectly to the professional level. She has been climbing the WTA rankings at a pace that is turning heads from every corner of the globe, and she carries the weight and the pride of an entire nation with every single forehand winner she rips down the line. But here is the thing about rising stars, and this is something that every fan of the sport needs to understand. The higher you climb, the bigger the target on your back becomes. And when you are a young player of color, rising rapidly, playing out of a country that has never produced a tennis superstar at this level before, the target does not just get bigger. It becomes a beacon for every doubter, every conspiracy theorist, and every online keyboard warrior who simply cannot process greatness without looking for an asterisk to put next to it. And that, Champions Tennisitics community, is exactly where our story takes a dark, dramatic, and deeply revealing turn. The setting is the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships, one of the most prestigious events on the WTA calendar, held in the glittering, sun-soaked emirate that has become one of the great homes of professional tennis. The draw is stacked, the competition is fierce, and Alex Eala is absolutely locked in. She steps onto the court for her highly anticipated matchup against American powerhouse Hailey Baptiste, and from the very first ball struck, it is clear that this is going to be a match for the ages. Baptiste is no pushover. She is a strong, athletic, physically imposing player who can hurt you from anywhere on the court. Her serves are booming, her ground strokes are heavy, and she has the kind of relentless competitive spirit that makes her genuinely dangerous against anyone in the world on any given day. The first set is an absolute war. Both players are grinding from the baseline, trading massive ground strokes, chasing down balls that have no business being retrieved, and fighting with every ounce of their competitive fire. The crowd is absolutely electric. But as the set wears on, something becomes increasingly apparent. Alex Eala is everywhere. She is getting to balls that look like outright winners. She is recovering from positions that seem physically impossible. She is moving around the court with a fluidity, a speed, and an explosive agility that is genuinely breathtaking to watch. Every time Baptiste thinks she has set up the point and launched a shot to a seemingly unreachable corner, Eala appears, racket outstretched, and sends the ball screaming back with interest. The first set goes to Eala, 6-4, and the Filipino sensation pumps her fist to the crowd with the quiet confidence of someone who knows exactly what she is capable of. Now, in the player's box, there is a man watching all of this very closely. Eric Hechtman, the coach of Hailey Baptiste, is renowned in tennis circles as one of the sharper tactical minds working on the women's tour today. He is experienced, he is analytical, and he sees things on a tennis court that most people simply miss. And according to the viral internet storm that was about to explode, what Hechtman allegedly saw from the player's box during that first set was something that gave him serious pause. The rumor, which spread across every major tennis forum, every social media platform, and every fan group with terrifying speed, claimed that Hechtman had flagged something deeply concerning about Eala's movement patterns. The allegation that spread like wildfire was that Hechtman had watched Eala's footwork and recovery speed with increasing alarm, pulling out his phone to record specific moments, zooming in on her foot plant, her lateral explosions, and her ability to seemingly teleport from one side of the court to the other without any visible decline in energy levels. The rumor escalated to nuclear levels when the internet claimed that Hechtman had taken what he believed to be incriminating video footage and made an urgent, formal submission to the International Tennis Integrity Agency, better known to the tennis community as the ITIA. For those who are not familiar with the ITIA, this is the independent body that governs anti-doping and integrity standards across professional tennis. They are the final word on clean sport, and their involvement in any player's case is the kind of thing that can change the trajectory of an entire career. The alleged claim, according to the wildfire of rumors, was that Hechtman had submitted video evidence and formally requested an emergency test for Alexandra Eala, citing what he described as unnaturally enhanced physical performance during the match. Can you even imagine the absolute chaos that this rumor ignited? The moment this story hit Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, and every tennis-focused Facebook group on the planet, the entire community exploded into furious debate. The hashtag #AlexEala was trending worldwide within hours. Fans were fighting in comment sections across multiple languages. Filipino tennis fans were outraged and heartbroken. American tennis commentators were carefully choosing their words. WTA insiders were going silent, which everyone knows is almost as alarming as them speaking. The sports media was scrambling to get ahead of the story. Analysts were pulling up match footage and replaying moments on YouTube, pointing at Eala's footwork in slow motion as if they had suddenly become forensic scientists. It was, to put it simply, an absolute circus. And at the center of it all was a 20-year-old young woman who, by all accounts, was simply playing tennis the way she has always played tennis. Brilliantly, explosively, and with the full force of years of elite training behind every single shot. The tennis world has an uncomfortable but undeniable history with doping scandals. When Maria Sharapova was revealed to have tested positive for meldonium in 2016, it sent a shockwave through the sport that is still felt today. When Simona Halep faced her own ITIA saga in recent years, the emotional toll on fans, on the player, and on the sport's reputation was enormous. The tennis community has been conditioned, perhaps unfairly, to be hypervigilant. So when a story emerges claiming that a high-profile coach has formally flagged a young, explosively physical player for testing, the alarm bells ring loud and they ring fast. The rumor machine did not just claim that Eala was under scrutiny. It claimed that the ITIA, bowing to the weight of the submission and the public pressure swirling around it, had mandated an emergency, highly controlled, comprehensive drug test to be conducted immediately following the match. The silence that followed was almost unbearable for Eala's fan base. For days, nothing official was released. The ITIA, as is their standard professional protocol, remained tight-lipped. Eala's team did not issue a public statement. The WTA said nothing. And in the vacuum created by that silence, the internet did what the internet always does. It filled every available space with speculation, with fear, with rumor stacked upon rumor, and with the very specific kind of cruelty that tends to follow talented young women of color when they dare to excel at levels people did not expect from them. The Filipino tennis community was going through a deeply painful collective experience, watching their icon, their source of immense national pride, be subjected to an accusation that felt like an attack not just on Eala the tennis player, but on the entire story of hard work and sacrifice that she represents. Because here is what gets lost in the noise when these rumors fly. Eala's story is not just a tennis story. It is a story about a young girl from the Philippines whose talent was spotted early, who traveled thousands of miles from home to train at one of the most rigorous academies in the world, who put in hour after hour after hour of footwork drills, conditioning sessions, tactical work, and mental training under the same sun that shaped Rafael Nadal into the greatest clay court player in history. The Rafa Nadal Academy in Manacor is not a place where mediocrity is tolerated. It is a place where excellence is the baseline, where the standard is set by a man who famously runs kilometers every single day, who does fitness work that rivals professional athletes in any sport, and who has made mental toughness and physical conditioning the absolute foundation of everything he does. That is the environment that shaped Eala. That is the culture she was immersed in during the years when her game was being constructed from the ground up. So when people looked at Eala on a tennis court and saw a young woman moving with supernatural speed and recovering from impossible positions with barely a trace of fatigue, the answer was not a mystery wrapped in a scandal. The answer was 5 in the morning training sessions. The answer was footwork ladder drills repeated until they became muscle memory as deep and reliable as breathing. The answer was a coaching staff that understood from day one that Eala's physical conditioning was going to be one of the primary weapons in her arsenal, alongside her extraordinary feel for the ball, her tactical intelligence, and a competitive instinct that simply cannot be manufactured. And then, the truth came out. And when it did, it hit like a serve from the tee at 320 kilometers per hour directly into the soul of every person who had dared to question what they were watching. The results of the alleged emergency ITIA testing, according to the story as it fully unraveled, were not just negative. They were, by every metric and every standard, a resounding, unambiguous, total vindication of Eala. Not a trace of any prohibited substance. Not a single anomaly. Nothing that should not be there. Everything that should be there. The report, as the rumor concluded its dramatic arc, essentially said what anyone who truly understood tennis and truly understood training should have known from the very beginning. There is nothing in Eala's body that does not belong there. She is simply that good. She is simply that fit. She is simply that trained. The reaction to this revelation was swift, emotional, and deeply cathartic for the millions of people who had been holding their breath. The Filipino tennis community, which had been in quiet, anxious solidarity for days, erupted in celebration. Social media flipped from tense speculation to pure, joyful vindication. Eala's fans shared clips of her training sessions, her footwork drills, her conditioning work, her early morning runs. They flooded every tennis forum with a message that was simple, clear, and profoundly powerful. She worked for this. Every stride, every sprint, every impossible retrieval was purchased at the price of hours in the gym, hours on the practice court, and years of relentless, disciplined, unglamorous hard work. There is no shortcut in Eala's story. There is only sacrifice. Now, here is where the real-world truth of what happened in Dubai adds another layer of meaning to this entire saga. In reality, the match between Eala and Hailey Baptiste at the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships did take place, and Eala did take the first set 6-4 in a commanding display of her extraordinary baseline craft. But the match ended not with a dramatic doping investigation, not with emergency ITIA personnel descending on the court, and not with any kind of scandal. It ended with something that actually reflects the true humanity and the genuine difficulty of professional tennis far more powerfully than any manufactured controversy ever could. Hailey Baptiste, to her enormous credit, fought with everything she had. But the physical demands of the tour are brutal, and in the second set, Baptiste began to feel the effects of a severe abdominal injury that had been building throughout the match. She tried to push through it, because that is what professional athletes do, because the competitive fire never goes out easily, and because walking off a court is one of the hardest things any athlete ever has to do. But eventually, with the injury making it impossible to continue at the level required to compete fairly, Baptiste was forced to retire from the match. She walked to the net, shook Eala's hand with grace, and the match was over. Alex Eala advanced, but not with the kind of celebration that comes from a decisive victory. Now let's talk about what comes next, because the Eala story is far from over. In fact, if anything, this entire episode, the fake scandal, the internet chaos, the vindication, has served as a massive spotlight moment that has introduced Alex Eala to millions of new fans around the world who previously had no idea who she was. Every controversy, even a manufactured one, has a way of expanding an athlete's audience, and the discourse around Eala in the wake of this saga has been overwhelmingly positive. People who were not following her before are now watching her matches. People who had heard her name but had not engaged with her story are now diving into her career history, watching highlight reels of her junior Grand Slam campaign, marveling at the footwork and the shot-making and the competitive instinct that make her so special. The WTA Tour continues, the points race continues, and Alex Eala continues to climb. Every match she plays from here is an opportunity to add to her ranking, to add to her experience, and to further cement her place among the players that the tennis world is genuinely excited about. The players she is sharing courts with are noticing. The coaches and analysts around the tour are talking about her. The conversations in locker rooms and practice courts are shifting in the way they only shift when the consensus begins to form that a player is not just a promising young talent, but a genuine future force. That shift is happening with Alex Eala right now, in real time. And the fake scandal that tried to cloud it only served to make the spotlight on her shine brighter and burn longer. Hailey Baptiste, for her part, deserves nothing but respect and genuine wishes for a full recovery. Abdominal injuries are notoriously difficult to play through and can linger in ways that are deeply frustrating for athletes who are built to compete. Baptiste is a talented, hard-working player who has every reason to believe in her own future on the tour. And the circumstances of how her Dubai campaign ended say nothing about her quality and everything about the brutal physical demands of professional tennis. Coach Eric Hechtman will continue to work with her, helping her find her form and her confidence when she is fully fit, and the tennis world will be watching her return with genuine interest. The rivalry between Eala and Baptiste, with all of the dramatic context that now surrounds it, is one that has every ingredient to become one of the more compelling matchups of the next several years as both players continue to develop. And what of the broader lesson that this entire saga delivers to the tennis community? It is this: the next time you see a young player doing something that seems almost impossible on a tennis court, before you reach for the narrative that diminishes it, consider the alternative explanation. Consider the 5 a.m. wake-up calls. Consider the ankle-wrecking footwork drills done on clay courts in the Spanish heat until every muscle screams for rest, and the player does them again anyway. Consider the tactical video sessions, the nutrition plans, the psychological coaching, the years of quiet, unglamorous, unrewarded sacrifice that happen long before any camera is ever pointed at a player in a professional match. Consider that what looks like a miracle on a tennis court is almost always the product of work that is simply invisible to everyone watching from the outside. Alex Eala is not a miracle. She is not the product of a shortcut or a secret. She is the product of exactly the kind of extraordinary commitment and relentless preparation that has produced every great champion this sport has ever seen. She is a young woman in the process of becoming something genuinely special, and the whole world is going to have a front row seat to watch it happen. The fake scandal tried to write a different story, but the truth, as it always does, won in the end. And the truth about Alex Eala is the most exciting thing in women's tennis right now. So there you have it, Champions Tennisitics family. The full story, the wild rumor, the internet firestorm, the dramatic twists, the real-world truth, and the bigger picture of what this all means for one of the most exciting young careers in professional tennis. This was not just a story about a tennis match or even a fabricated scandal. This was a story about what happens when greatness rises faster than some people can accept it, and about what happens when the truth is powerful enough to cut through all of the noise and stand on its own. Alex Eala is standing on her own right now. She has been doing it for years, and she is going to keep doing it, match by match, set by set, point by blazing, unreachable, absolutely real and natural point, until every doubter in the world has run out of things to say. We could not be more proud to cover her story here on Champions Tennisitics, and we cannot wait to bring you every chapter of what comes next. That is going to do it for today's deep dive into the hottest, most talked about story in women's tennis. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you are a real one, and we appreciate you more than you know. Hit that like button right now if this video gave you everything you came for. Drop a comment below and tell us, did you fall for the rumor when it first hit the internet? Or did you know from the jump that Eala was simply just that good? Let the conversation start in the comments because the Champions Tennisitics community always has the best takes and the most passionate opinions in tennis. And if you have not subscribed yet, what are you even doing? Tap that subscribe button and turn the bell on all the way because we are serving up the hottest tennis news, the deepest analysis, and the most dramatic stories from the WTA Tour every single week. Thank you for being here. This is Champions Tennisitics, and we will see you in the next one. Stay locked in, stay passionate, and never stop watching the best sport in the world.